everyone, it's Alicia. I am back from LA. I have been back for about a month, and honestly, I've been taking that time to rest and recuperate because, oh man, I was up there doing what I love, but it was exhausting. We worked 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, from 9 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. We did lots of theater stuff, especially learning how to do inclusive and accessible theater for us, for actors who are blind or visually impaired. And what was so awesome about it is a lot of the techniques were ones that we developed ourselves on the fly, just based on working with the space and what we individually and collectively discovered that we needed. And quickly, I just want to say, if you hear some drilling sounds or banging noises, I do apologize for that. The laundry room that our apartment complex uses is directly below our apartment, and they are doing repairs on that right now. So yeah, if you hear any construction-ish noises, that's what that is. So apologies for that. But yeah, LA Access Acting Academy, it was brilliant. It was life-changing. It was invigorating. I just had an amazing time. I met lots of wonderful people, both within the industry and also those like me who are just starting out. We're at different levels of acting. Some of us had never been in theater before. Some of us had had lots of previous experience, and we all just came together and figured out how to perform as actors with low vision or no vision and all levels of vision in between, and it was amazing. We worked on moving in the physical space, figuring out ways to make sets and rehearsal spaces accessible. For those who needed tactile marks on the floor or on the walls to know this is where your mark is, we would do things like put paint stirrer sticks on the wall or on the floor and then just cover them with black tape, because we are working in a black box theater, which is a theater that has all black floors and walls. It's pretty much a blank canvas for theater where you can make any set you like in it. And so we used paint stirrer sticks to make tactile marks on the floor. In order to create a border around the floor space, because it's a flat space where there's just a flat floor and then the wall. So to let the actors know where the wall is, we would take squares or rectangles of carpet and put them against the wall, and they were black carpet rectangles, and we edged the carpet with 3-inch strips of white gaff tape or white strike tape, so that those of us like me who did have some vision, who needed high contrast, we could see, oh, there's the border, that's where the floor meets the wall. And it was incredible. We talked about self-advocacy. We talked about the fact that we are the industry. So often actors, especially those who are considered different, whether be they actors of color, actors in the LGBTQ community, actors in various communities with disabilities, I think a lot of us, we see the industry as this big outside entity that we have to come to and meet certain expectations of. And what the main teacher of the program, her name is Marilee Talkington. She's an absolute badass. She is an artistic queen. She's amazing. But she really let us know, hey, we are the industry. If we want the industry to be a certain way, it's up to us to come to them and say, this is what I as an individual need, or what we as a community need, but this is what we need, and I will bring the tools that are necessary to help bring those needs about. But also, if the larger industry, they have two choices. They can either change with us or get left behind, basically, because the world is changing a lot, both in terms of being inclusive with entertainment and how we share stories, and also with how the story of the world is being shaped right now. And actually, to segue, I'm filming this on Super Tuesday. For any international viewers, basically this is the day that many of the states here in America go vote for the primary elections, meaning we're voting for our members of Congress, those in the legislative body in our states, but also voting for who we want to be the nominee that will go up against the current child emperor that we have for a president. And yes, I don't like the current administration. I'll make that clear. But if anything, said current administration has made me get much more involved in politics or stay much more up to date on it than I did before. Because before, and I think a lot of young Americans or Americans in general saw politics as a very separate thing, something high above us, something, oh, let them fight amongst themselves. It's just politics. How does that affect me as an individual? And that kind of attitude, it historically and in modern times can lead to some really dangerous things. And so, yeah, I've become much more involved in politics as much as I can, learning about them and affirming what I believe, what my political views are. And so with that in mind, later today, my mom, my sister, and I were all gonna go out and vote. And I, for one, am voting for Bernie Sanders. I adore Bernie Sanders. I'm a Bernie supporter 100%. The point is just get out there and vote. Make your voice heard. And let them hear the people sing. And with that, I have my, if you can see, I have my Les Miserables shirt on. Obviously, those of you who watch my channel, you know I'm a big Victor Hugo fan, and I feel that if Victor Hugo was alive today, he would also love the policies that Bernie Sanders supports. So I feel hopeful, I feel energized, there's a lot of good energy in the air. And also, speaking of Victor Hugo, when I was up in LA, I got some exciting news. A long time ago, a couple months ago, so long ago that I'd forgotten I had done it, but I think it was around the holidays or before the holiday season, but I submitted my adaptation of The Man Who Laughs into a playwriting competition that's being held by a theater group called She NYC, which is a theater group that supports the work of female playwrights and female identifying playwrights. And I submitted The Man Who Laughs for their summer festival that will be held this year. And there will be one festival in LA and one in New York where the winning playwrights will get to stage a very stripped down, minimalist, set and costume-wise production of their play for an audience. And so I submitted the play, and when I was up in LA, I got an email that said, hey, congratulations, your play has been selected into the semifinals, which means that at least 3 judges ranked it at the top of their list of the plays that they liked the best. And I was just so honored to receive that news, especially because in the submission process, the playwrights, we had to take off our names off the script so the judges wouldn't know who wrote what. So the judging would be done solely based on the strength of the writing. So the fact that my script got through just based on its strength of story and writing, I was just beyond thrilled, so honored, so excited. And not just because it's something that I wrote, but I feel that the story of The Man Who Laughs, the story that has many of the themes that Victor Hugo's more famous works like Les Miserables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame carry, themes of the people standing up and making their voices heard against a corrupt, aristocratic class that wants to keep them down. those messages need to be heard right now, and the fact that they seem to be through films like Joker, through the hope of my play, which is being judged right now as we speak. It's fantastic. We're at a crossroads socially and culturally, and it's a wonderful time to be alive right now, to be a young person in America, to be a young artist, to be an artist who speaks for the people. It's a crazy time, it's a nerve-wracking time, but it's also a wonderful time to be alive, to be at this point in time that seemed to harken back to the many, many other times in history that society has stood up to make itself heard, the will of the people, whether that's the times Victor Hugo lived in, whether that's the times of 100 years ago in the 1920s when women got the right to vote, when so many other social changes were happening, when the 1960s and 70s when modern paganism really began to emerge and was no longer such a taboo thing to speak of. It's just, life goes through cycles and crossroads and all these things. And so, whatever happens, strive for what you believe in. As long as your path doesn't harm others, you do you. Make your voice heard, however it is, whether you're an artist or you express yourself creatively in other ways, make yourself be heard. And I should know about the results of The Man Who Laughs, whether it made it into the finals. They told us sometime early in March, but it might be a little bit longer depending on the judging process. So of course I will let you all know what happens when I hear, and it's just great to be back on YouTube. I'm so thrilled to be back. I have lots of other things planned. I have a wonderful cake recipe that I'll be sharing with you sometime soon, and also I have gotten requests to do reviews of the novel of The Man Who Laughs as well as its various film adaptations, so I'm definitely planning those. Those are in the works. They're on my to-do list, but they'll take a little bit more time because I feel I will have to script those episodes as opposed to when I just talk to the camera. I'm literally just talking to the camera and talking off the cuff. So I definitely have lots more videos planned, and if you have any requests for recipes or a video on any witchy topics, Wiccan topics, or creative topics, writing, theater, my thoughts on art, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And thank you all for watching, and blessed be, and I hope that you're all also having a wonderful start to 2020.